Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining us. I'm Dan Tricroci, and I'm the content marketing manager at Beyond Type 1, where our mission is to help people with diabetes stay alive and thrive. It's my pleasure to introduce Jake Leach, the Chief Operating Officer of Dexcom, a leading company in continuous glucose monitoring technology for diabetes management. With over 2 decades of experience at Dexcom, Jake has been instrumental in driving innovation and ensuring the accuracy and reliability of CGM devices. Under his leadership, Dexcom continues to enhance the lives of people living with diabetes through cutting-edge technology and strategic partnerships. On June 5th, 2024, Dexcom announced that its G7 continuous glucose monitor now connects directly to the Apple Watch in the United States. With its official release, the Dexcom G7 becomes the first and only CGM with an Apple Watch direct-to-app function. Jakes, thanks for joining us today.
Yeah, it's great to be here, Dan.
First off, congratulations on Dexcom G7's latest development. How does the milestone of integrating the G7 and Apple Watch align with Dexcom's long-term vision for diabetes management technology?
It's a great question, Dan. One of our long-standing design philosophies around how we develop our products is we listen to our users. And so ever since our very first CGM that we launched, the 3-day back in 2006, we've been listening to feedback about what users want in their CGMs. And one of the things that's been pretty clear is they want data that's easily accessible, discrete display devices, and kind of fit into their lifestyle. One of the things about this new direct-to-watch feature that's so exciting is that users now no longer need to feel like they're tethered to their phone. They can walk away from their phone where they have their G7 app displaying their glucose data. They can walk away from that phone, walk out of Bluetooth range, and still have all of the information they need and the safety blanket the CGM provides them, because now it's all communicating straight from the wearable to the watch as well. So their Apple Watch has the readings live, the trend graph on the display, and also has the alerts and the alarms they need for when their glucose goes out of range.
So prior to this, a Dexcom user could view their blood sugar information on their Apple Watch screen, but they needed to be within Bluetooth range of their iPhone, about 30 feet or so. Now they don't. So with this newfound freedom, what kind of diabetes health management doors are going to be opened up?
I think it really just allows people more flexibility, right? They can take that, they can go out and go for a walk and not have to take their phone, and they still have their important CGM information with them. Maybe when they're working out, they're in a gym, or they're doing something where running on the beach, walking on the beach, right? They just don't want to take their phone with them. Now they can have all the ease of having their real-time CGM with them right there on the watch. And so it is one of the most user requested features we've had for a while, has been this direct-to-watch connectivity. When we developed G7, we built it into the hardware from the beginning of the sensor, knowing that we wanted to unlock this feature as soon as we could. We worked closely with Apple on the operating system of the watch, the watch OS, to ensure that all this functionality is available. There's quite a bit that has to happen under the hood within the devices to ensure that there's handoffs and everything works seamlessly. And that's been a long journey for us, working in to make that work. But now we're really excited to introduce it to the world.
And what specific models of Apple Watch are compatible with this new integration?
It's basically Series 6 and newer, so it goes back quite a ways. It really has to do with the capability of those watches to connect to the sensor via the Bluetooth, and also for the operating system on the watch to be able to handle all the alerts and the alarms that they're required when the watch takes over. So yeah, it's Series 6 and newer. So both of the Ultras up to they're on Series 9 now. So those all work as well.
And what about the battery life? How does this integration affect the battery life of both the Dexcom G7 and the Apple Watch?
Dan, that's a really important question. So it doesn't impact battery life of the sensor at all. When we designed G7, we specifically designed it to have the extra capabilities, both on the Bluetooth side and the battery side, to be able to communicate to the watch. And then on the watch side, one of the things that Apple, as we work on these projects with them, they're always concerned about ensuring that there is no impact to the battery life of the watch. And so that's one of the things that as we developed it, we were very conscious of. And excited to say that there's minimal to no impact to the battery life on the watch. It was designed to have this capability as well.
So you touched a little earlier on the functionalities. What is there like a laundry list now of functionalities that are available directly on the Apple Watch? Can users receive alerts, view real-time glucose data? What other things are there?
Yeah, so basically, the user still needs to use their phone when they set up the sensor at the very beginning when they pair, because the pairing is still done through the phone. You pair your phone to your sensor, and then from that, your watch is then once you activate the direct to watch feature under the connections tab within the G7 app. Once you activate that, then the sensor will pair directly to the watch. Alert settings, you set them all up on the phone, and then they transfer over to the watch. And so the key functionality when the user's outside of their phone communication range is really around real-time data every 5 minutes, the updates to the trend graph, all of the alerts and the alarms are on the watch now. So you have that protection and that notification when you're headed out of range. So that all that functionality is there. One of the functionalities that we're looking to implement here in the near future is the ability to also share from the watch. So today, Follow is still compatible with your system, the Follow remote monitoring app. But right now, all that data is only uploaded by the phone. But we're working hard to bring the share functionality to the watch so that when the user's using their watch alone, again, and they're not in range of their phone, that watch will be uploading data to the cloud. So that's a coming soon feature. I've got a lot of questions about that, particularly from parents whose kids are really excited about this feature. As soon as they come back within range of their phone, everything backfills and the data goes up to the cloud. So, so lots of flexibility in this first version and more to come.
So the ability to share right now is something you're working on. What, if any, are the limitations to using the Dexcom G7 with the Apple Watch compared to using it with just the iPhone?
That's really the main limitation is that it's not uploading to the cloud at this point in time. And then also the user interface for setting up alerts and all those things really has to be done on the phone. And then it transfers over to the watch. Doing that type of user interface on the watch, yeah, we felt was overly complicated, and it's easy to keep your alarm thresholds and the way you have your alarm set up all in sync when they're basically the same on the phone and the watch. But really that upload to the cloud is the next big thing that we want to implement, and that's the main difference. And it actually goes back to the question you asked about battery life. When we first implemented this feature on the watch, there was concern as we worked through again with the team over there at Apple around making sure that the uploading to the cloud, the CGM data every 5 minutes, didn't impact the watch battery life. And so we've worked closely together to ensure that it doesn't. And so that's basically why we're in the midst of getting that feature done right now.
And how intuitive would you say is the process of connecting the Dexcom to the Apple Watch? If I'm a tech novice, let's say, and I'm using the G7 and I have an Apple Watch, what are the steps that you could take me through to set that up?
It's really simple. You basically have your G7 mobile app on your phone, and you go into the connections tab, which is where you pair sensors, and there's a direct to watch menu item. You click that, and then it walks you through. There's a video. It walks you through all the steps. It's very straightforward, and there's lots of the extra information and graphics to show you exactly what it'll look like. Basically, once you activate that and your phone is paired to your sensor, there's a pairing message comes up on your watch, and you hit yes, and then you're up and running.
Now, in addition to videos, video tutorials rather, are there going to be more traditional media, printed materials that will explain people how to do this?
There's right now on the website, actually, there's quite a few FAQs about the watch as well. General questions around how to do it. What watches are supported. There's that page is already up and live, and we're continuing to add to it as we learn more about how what questions users are coming up with about the feature. And we will have printed material if necessary.
How does this integration cater to the needs of different diabetes demographics, such as children, elderly people with diabetes, athletes with diabetes?
That's a great question. I was literally emailing back and forth with a dad last night, whose daughter uses the Dexcom CGM, and she is actually a water polo player. And what they were talking about was the fact that when she's in the swimming pool, she's away from her phone, and she's not getting her glucose readings. And so we were literally talking about how she could be wearing this watch now, and it could be giving her glucose readings in real time in the pool while she's competing. So I think it opens up a lot of opportunities to really just give people extra freedom and extra functionality that they've never had before with their CGM.
How does Dexcom protect consumers' health information when it's being transmitted between the G7 and the Apple Watch?
Really important. So the communication links between G7 and any of the devices it communicates with, whether it's an insulin pump or our receiver, the phone, or even the Apple Watch, they all have encrypted security built into them, and the G7 has each G7 has a unique digital key within it to ensure that it's only communicating to authorized devices. Pump partners, the display is the mobile app. So it's a very secure system. We've continued to enhance the security of our products over time. G7, we introduced a lot of new technology, including that digital certificate that's in each device. And we also, when you think about the cloud, have a significant amount of a focus on ensuring that those systems are protected, both the user information as well as the uptime and reliability of the systems is of utmost important to us. Take it very seriously. We have a lot of user data that's extremely personal, and it's our duty to ensure that it remains safe.
So my final question is, are there any similar integrations with other smartwatches or wearable devices planned? Is there an Android version coming?
We're in the process right now of evaluating the platforms, Android being one of them, the watch platforms, for the capability to do this. The reason it's taken a while to get this feature out, we've been working on it for a number of years, the direct to watch on Apple, was all about ensuring that the platform, the Apple Watch platform, could reliably operate in this fashion. And it's, as I kind of mentioned before, it's a lot more than just the Bluetooth connection. That's very important that that's reliable, but there's also the alert system. When your watch is your only display device because you're out of range of all your others, it needs to have the capability to give you those alerts that are so critical when you need them. And that level of reliability is something that we're still evaluating across some of the other watch platforms, including the Android platforms.
Well, thank you, Jake. I'd like to thank you and Dexcom for sharing these insights about the G7's integration with the Apple Watch. It's always remarkable to see how technology continues to enhance the health management of people with diabetes, and we look forward to seeing the impact that this will have on users' lives. And to our viewers, thank you for tuning in. I'm Dan Tricroce of Beyond Type 1. Stay tuned for more insightful and enlightening interviews that will empower you to live the best possible life with diabetes. See you soon.